Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of the CR7 Podcast. The RTGAC is back in today. Back here 2 straight weeks. I mean, look at us go. 2 straight weeks back on the CR7 Podcast. We're rolling here. We are rolling, moving along through, I don't know, this spring. It's very cold outside. But lots going on here at St. Joe's Prep. But before we get into all of that and the rundown, Cole, say what's up to the people.
Morning, everyone. Like Ryan said, hey, back-to-back weeks. Something to be proud of. I mean, man, we used to be electric freshman, sophomore year. We really need to get back onto a better schedule, and I think we will.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
But you're a global
on these
icon.
Wednesdays.
You're a global icon. So
Okay, please. That's enough.
It's,
But yeah, I mean, just super excited to get into the rundown, and you know,
we're getting into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of Cole being a global icon, baseball today, 4 p.m. at Rutgers Camden versus Bonner. Tomorrow, baseball at 4 p.m. versus Holy Ghost Prep. And then on Friday, we have lacrosse at the Croc versus Bonner. Lots going on. Also 4 p.m. Lots going on here on WSJP. But for the rundown for today's show, we'll have a 76ers weekly recap. Then we'll get into the NFL just a little bit. Does Jeremiah Love fit into the top 10 of the NFL draft? I know there's been a bit of debate on that. Cole's going to be talking about his MVP race for the NBA. And then I'll be talking about the real number 1 pick in the NBA draft, who I think is the real number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Cole will also both of us will be talking about what's been going on in March Madness. We'll get into Ryan's rants, and we'll wrap things up for today. Cole, 76ers, well, not so great. I mean, since the last time we talked, they went 2-1, but those wins were against the Kings and the Jazz, but then got absolutely demolished by a returning Jared McCain and the Oklahoma City Thunder last night at home. I mean, this is just not looking so great.
Yeah, I mean, again, I really want the Sixers to tank right now because if you do get a lottery pick, you can get a very, very, very good player. I mean, this is one of the most stacked draft classes we've seen in a while, and we'll get to that in a minute. Even like the 10th overall pick would be like ridiculous. But yeah, I will say I've loved watching VJ Edgecombe these past couple weeks. He's really taken a step up in his game. He scored 38 versus Sacramento and 35 last night against the Thunder, Monday night against the Thunder. So yeah, I think he's done a very, very good job now creating his own shots and shot opportunities. I feel like he's relying less on Maxey and more on just his pure scoring ability, which I don't think he had as much in college at Baylor. So I think he's taken some pretty major steps in his game, and that's what I really looked for. And then, you know, these next couple games, it's going to I mean, I'm not going to lie. We have a pretty tough schedule ahead. The Bulls are okay. Actually, we don't really have that tough of a schedule. But Minnesota, Detroit, San Antonio, and Houston, and even the Pacers are going to be a pretty rough stretch there at the end. And most of those are away games. So, yeah, I kind of want to tank right now for the best possible pick. But yeah, I will say I love the way VJ Edgecombe's been playing. That's pretty much my only takeaway from this week.
My takeaway from this week is just how ridiculous the front office now looks. I mean, listen, the team is playing the same way every game, and I feel like it's hard to break it down based off of the fact that the defense is terrible. The last time we gave up less than 100 points was against the Brooklyn Nets a couple of weeks ago, who are not good at all. The defense is just terrible. And, you know, you can't score the ball every single game at such an efficient rate if, you know, when you're giving up this many points. It's just not going to happen. So there's really no other way to break it down than I did last week. Defense is bad. Offense is all right. I mean, they're scoring the ball well, but they just can't defend. So it really doesn't matter. But then, look at last night. Jared McCain coming back absolutely torched the Sixers when it coming to making threes. I mean, it was just absolutely terrible. It was awful. I mean, trading him for a first-round pick that's probably not going to mean much in the first place. I mean, it was just an absolute it was a tragedy. What happened? What's been going on here with the Sixers and their moves being made over the past year or so, because they didn't want to go over the salary cap. I mean, or the luxury tax, whatever it's called. I mean, you have got to be out of your natural mind.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I mean, the process is
Well, the process never really got. Well, to be fair, the process never really got a chance to get off because they stopped it, like in the middle, kind of like towards the end of it.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the picks were just. I mean, most of the picks were just not good.
Yeah, I mean, Fultz could have been okay, but
Well, he got hurt.
yeah, then he got hurt. And then Tatum turns into what Tatum is. Okafor was just bad.
Carter Williams.
Yeah, he had a good
Rookie of the year, and then
just
fell off
a cliff. I mean, it's just not looking good. I mean, you look at the overall picture.
Simmons.
Yeah, Simmons. Just couldn't get. Shot.
Probably hit. I mean, we hit on Embiid, and we hit on Mikal Bridges, but we traded him on draft night.
And then Jeremy McCain, we traded him away.
Well, and Maxey, if you want to count that.
That's another one. I mean,
but I wouldn't consider that process era.
The Sixers have been pretty solid when it comes to drafting, but I don't know. It's just not.
Not really.
Well, I mean, like except for like Fultz and Okafor. Look at the last 10 years.
I would disagree with you.
Fair enough.
I would say there's probably. Yeah, I think there's a lot.
I actually agree with you. If the Sixers lost every single game.
Look at the Spurs.
No, I know. But getting back to the Sixers, if they lost every single game for the rest of the season, I would not be sad about it at all. You look at the.
I would be happy.
Yeah, I would honestly too. You look at the draft class. I mean, honestly, they should probably just let it go because you're going to be in the play-in. The worst part is going to be the play-in. Even if you get into the playoffs, you got to go up against the Pistons and the Celtics, who I don't even think they've won a game against this year. Or I think they did beat the Celtics very, very early in the season, but both teams have significantly changed. But you're not going anywhere. I would just say just go to the bottom. Honestly, you know what, Cole? I feel like I should say this right now. If you could trade Embiid for a top 5 pick in this draft, I think I would do it. Because, I mean, look at the way the draft is. And, you know, Embiid's only getting older. He's not getting any healthy. You heard over the summer.
I would trade him for a top 3 pick. I don't know if I'd trade him for a top 5
I would
pick.
do top 5 based. I mean, look at the top 5. Even the top 5 is stacked.
I'm looking at the top 5. I'm looking at the top 3.
Yeah, the top 3 is great.
Maybe 4.
All right,
top 4.
Fair. All right, well, we can talk about that as we move on. But, I mean, that's kind of the overview. I mean, it's not really we can't even do a recap because it's just the same thing every week. It feels like they're not.
Yeah.
They're just stuck in the same place. They're not getting better. They're not getting worse.
Phillies opening day.
Yeah.
This week. So.
Yeah, was it on Thursday?
We'll switch right over to them as soon as they get started.
Right,
so.
Right. But
and we can mix some college baseball in there as well.
I think so.
I got some stuff to talk about. So.
I'm not much of a college baseball guy. So,
yeah.
Hold on, I have to pull. I didn't prepare as well as I should have.
No, we don't have to talk about that, but.
No, I'm talking about for the next topic. Okay.
Getting into Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, so Jeremiah Love, a lot of talk about him, whether he should fit into the top 10 in the draft, and I honestly, I would say yes. I think there's always a lot of talk about, because I remember talking to Andrew Brousseau, you know, one of the executives, of WSJP. And also was talking to my guy Connor Martin, who's a Notre Dame fan, going to Notre Dame. He plays hockey played hockey for the prep season's over. But we were talking about Jeremiah Love and if he fit into the top 10. I said yes. Drew wasn't so sure. And maybe we want to talk about this today. I say yes. I think he does. If you look at Jeremiah Love and just overall, I mean, the fundamentals of his game. He's a great jump cutter. He gets to the second level. He's hard to bring down at the second level. He gets to the sideline. I mean, fundamentally, Jeremiah Love is definitely the best back in this draft. I also think that he's a big guy as well. You just look at the stature. He's a very big guy. I don't have the exact weight, and he's 6 foot, 214 pounds. I mean, you look at other great running backs in the NFL, the Barry Sanders of the world. The Emmitt Smiths, those were around those sort of heights. I'm not saying he's going to be a Barry Sanders or an Emmitt Smith, but I think he definitely has that possibility. So I would say yes. But the problem is, where does he fall?
Yeah.
I think that you would have said the Chiefs a couple of weeks ago, but they just signed Kenneth Walker. I don't know how great that deal was, but regardless, they signed Kenneth Walker. Okay, so let's go through the top 10. You have the Raiders; they're taking Mendoza. The Jets; they don't need a running back. They just they just got Breece Hall back on the 1 year, but I mean, to be fair, I don't even think taking a running back at number 2 with the Jets situation is even possible or even a good idea. Arizona, number 3, once again, they don't need a running back. They have James Conner back, and I think they just signed somebody.
Yeah.
I forget. The Titans, they don't need a running back either. It just wouldn't be in their best interest. Let Andrew Bristow in.
Yeah.
Drew, we're talking about our topic we talked about yesterday. Does Jeremiah Love fall in the top 10 in the draft?
Oh, so you like going outside the top 10?
Well, I think he's in the top 10. Cole's going to talk about it in a second. At the 5, the Giants, I mean, they have Scadaboo. They don't need him.
Yep.
The Browns are interesting because, like, they could take him.
They could take anyone.
They
need everything.
I feel like they're the most likely, but I feel like they'll go with Cornell State.
Yeah, I agree.
Or defense, that's a good one. Commanders, as I said, is the biggest possibility because their running back room is not that great. Their offensive line is,
Subpar.
Subpar at best. Their defense has always been okay the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn on that side of the ball. They don't need a quarterback. They don't really need a receiver. I think they're going to get Brandon Ayuk. So they don't need a receiver. The Saints, they have Kamara. They don't need him. Chiefs, as we just said, no. Bengals, no. Their offensive line is just terrible in general, but they are bringing guys back. I would say the Commanders. I think that's just the Commanders or the Browns. I say the Commanders take him.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it, and I think that will happen. What do you say?
Yeah, I really like the Commanders, but Krosky Merritt is their returning back. They signed Rashad White and Jerome Ford in free agency. I think there's plenty of room in that running back room, but I just don't know if the Commanders will take him with a struggling O-line. I would honestly, I could see him. Man, it is kind of really that only spot because, obviously the Dolphins don't need him. The Cowboys don't need him.
I'll talk about top 10 here. This is just specifically top 10.
I would say no.
Really?
I would say no. And this isn't even a knock on Jordan Love. Or Jeremiah Love. I just don't think it's, I just don't know if there's like a real fit for him with the Commanders.
Are you saying he doesn't deserve to be a top 10, or are you saying that he isn't going to be a top 10?
I'm saying that he deserves to be top 10, but he won't.
Okay, that's cool. I think he deserves it, and I think he will be. But we'll see. We will definitely see. Moving on, NBA MVP race. This has been interesting, Cole. The 65 game rule has been a thing. That's a different discussion for another day. They're talking to get it abolished or a little modified. Honestly, maybe modified is the better option just because of load management in the era that we're in. NBA MVP race, it's obviously close. But Cole, who's the MVP?
I'm going with Shea. I feel like he's played really well down the stretch. However, I am going to make a case for Wembanyama. I think he's the best defensive player in the league. And they're 4-1 against the Oklahoma City Thunder this year. So I think taking into consideration the head-to-head and the fact that Wemby's such a better defensive asset than Shea is, I will go with Wemby.
I would say Wemby if he is not. Is he eligible to get the award?
I don't even know.
He's not? Okay, well then yes, Shea. Because Cole, you just said it. He's 4-1. In NBA, I take head-to-head records a lot more seriously than I do the NFL. Because on the NFL, there's two sides of the ball. NBA, there's two sides of the ball, and you got to produce on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
So I think Wemby has done that at a very efficient level. You've seen him this season. He's 5th in rebounds this year. Drew Brousseau says that Luka Doncic, which is not a bad take. I will actually get into him in a moment. Wemby, 24 points per game. He would definitely average a lot more if his whole team wasn't really good.
Yeah.
24 points per game, 5th in rebounds this season. 3 assists, 50% from the field. He's shooting very solid. He can also shoot the ball at a very efficient level.
Yep.
Can get to the rim pretty easily. Has a jump shot. There's nothing about his game that is flawed in any way, shape, or form. And as you said, Spurs 4-1 against the Thunder this season. I definitely would take Wemby as my MVP if he was not
ineligible.
Yeah, ineligible. So I would say Shea, but Doncic is interesting. The only reason I wouldn't say Doncic is
he doesn't play defense.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing, but also his reign of dominance has just come over the past couple of weeks, and that's my reasoning. He's played incredible. 60 points against the Miami Heat. He's been really, really great. But when you just look at, the overall season and kind of some of the struggles that the Lakers have had as a team, I would say that I wouldn't take Doncic. But maybe if he just completely explodes in the next couple of games, you could definitely continue to make that argument of Doncic being the best player or the most valuable player in in the times where it really matters most, because the Lakers were on an 8-game winning streak before it got broken by the Pistons the other night. So yeah, I would say as of now, I would say Shea. I think Doncic has that opportunity, and then also this. I mean, the 65-game rule. I feel like is just a whole other discussion. It honestly kind of fits into this discussion just based off of Wembanyama, because I feel like even if he didn't play 65 games, he still would be the MVP regardless. I don't know.
I mean, Luka also has 3 players on his team that average 20. Himself,
That is true.
LeBron, and AR.
That is true. That is true. Yep. Moving on, though, let's get into, before we get into March Madness, let's talk about the NBA draft. I know we're in March Madness. I know we're in the NBA season, but I feel this kind of fits into our March Madness discussion, and I'm going to say it right here, right now. The number 1 overall pick at this time, Cole Kuhn,
And I know what you're going to say, but
is
go ahead.
Darius Acuff Jr. That is the number 1 overall pick at the current moment in time.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. Look at the field. Sure, Bonsa, he's averaging the most points in the country. That's great, and I love it. I love to see that. But let's look at this. Let's look at all assets of the game. Getting to the rim, sure, I would take the Bonsa, and maybe I'd take a couple other people. Shooting the ball, I'm going to take Darius Acuff Jr. In the clutch, I'm going to take Darius Acuff Jr. And threes, jump shots, I just said it. I'm taking Darius Acuff Jr. Defensively is debatable, obviously. I mean, there's no reason why I wouldn't take either of them. I think when you look at how the NBA is worked now, look at Giannis. He won his championship, right? But ever since then, it's been a problem because he has not necessarily because, but he really only has one asset to his game. And look at the other guards that have just won championships. Shea, he's not necessarily a two-way when it comes to shooting and driving the ball to the rim, but he does have somewhat of a jump shot. I mean, who are the other guards? Steph Curry. I mean, over the past 10 years, has been probably the most dominant guard in the NBA because he can shoot and he also has a jump shot as well. Can somewhat get to the rim. But Acuff, I think that he's better. I think that he is completely polished offensively. I would not the most dominant player in college basketball, but I would say as of now, the number 1 overall pick in this draft.
All right, I'll get into my top 5, but I love Darius Acuff, but I just don't think he fits the mold of a professional basketball player. Honestly, the biggest thing that stands out to me is his height. He's only 6'3". You mentioned Shea, you mentioned Luka, you mentioned Steph Curry. They're all 6'5", 6'6", and Shea is what, 6?
He's around the same height as
8.
I don't know. Actually, is that big?
I don't know.
It's not 16.
All right. So I'll give my top 10. Actually, I'll just give my top whatever.
Just top 5.
I'll just do top 5. My number 1 pick is AJ DeBonsta. I think he's been the most dominant player in college basketball, kind of throughout the entirety of the year. And even with a BYU team who I don't think deserved to be where they were, kind of going into the tournament. Obviously, Rob Wright's great and everything, but I don't know. I feel like he just was kind of carrying that team, the majority of the year. So I will go AJ DeBonsta at number 1. I'm going to take Cam Boozer at 2. I think, what he's done at Duke has been pretty impressive. Obviously, all right.
I have no idea what it is.
Obviously, averaging a ton of points. Okay. Kyan Anthony over there. Chirping us. Either way. Yeah, I'm going to take Cam Boozer at 2. I'm going to take Darian Peterson at 3. I'm going to take Darius Acuff at 4. And then 5, I'm kind of between Keaton Wagler and Kingston Flemings. And I am going to go, what?
What about Caleb Wilson?
Caleb Wilson is injured, and so I
That's
think
fair.
he drops to
All right,
about
fair.
8.
All right, that's fair.
Okay. Gonna need you to mute up. But either way, I'm going to take Flemings at 5. I think he's been very, very well coached, especially at Houston with, I'm now blanking on the Sampson. Yep, Kevin Sampson. But yeah, I think he honestly is kind of one of the best guards especially defensively. I thought he was very, very good for Houston, especially in the Big 12 tournament. And yeah, so that's my top 5.
I can't see what I can't see. I can't see Acuff being out of the top 2. I can't see how you.
Why?
I can't see how you put Boozer over him.
Bro, again, I can put Boozer over him because he's the best player on the best team, and the way he.
But look, talk about translating to the NBA.
Tell me why don't you think Cam Boozer is?
Because I think Acuff is more athletic. He's played more in the clutch. He can get to the rim better, and I think that they're equal in shooting.
I understand that, but when you look at
Boozer's the bigger guy.
And I will say I think both of them will translate very, very well, just because of who they played for. I mean, look at Duke and look at Arkansas with Calipari. I mean, they both. Honestly, I'd say the 2 best. Preparation for the NBA.
I also just don't like how Boozer is really non-athletic.
Okay.
In any way.
All right.
I just don't think he's athletic. And also, Peter,
he's just not.
I can't agree.
You just don't like watching him, and that's fine.
Jeez. I think that I can't not Peterson just because the best availability is availability. Wait.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Best ability is available.
Yes, thank you. I have a tongue twister.
I understand that, but also from a medical standpoint, I understand like the full body cramp thing. So, yeah, we can get into
we already said no. Caleb.
We can get into some Sweet 16 stuff here.
Okay. First thing I have to say. Why is Texas going this far? Bracket buster. Also, how in God's name did High Point win? This guy who wearing 99 for God's sakes is dominating, not dominating. His first 2-point basket is to kill my bracket. And also, how does TCU win? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh my gosh, bro. Are you serious? How did TCU win? TCU was the better team.
Bro, like 50% of the 60% of the brackets got busted.
Your real question should be, how did Iowa win?
That is also a great question as well. Listen, I have Florida going out in the in like the Elite 8. I didn't have them in my Final 4. But still, how does Iowa win? I don't understand. I'm not going to say I'm not making a bracket next year because I always do. And also, where's James Hansen? Because I told him that Alabama was going to beat Texas Tech, and he was saying, oh, the guys got arrested, right? Well, where is he now? He always runs when, the lights are a little too bright, and he's got to face the music. That's part of the problem right there. I don't have an excuse.
All right, so I'm just going to break down these
you break down the bracket. I'm done with talking.
I'm going to break down these Sweet 16 games. We got a couple of stuff to talk about. Pause me if you have anything to say. I'll start with the Duke St. John's game. Again, this East, we knew it was going to be the best tournament. Obviously, Shire, Patino, Izzo, and Hurley left. So that's going to be, some of the best basketball we're going to watch all year. Duke St. John's, obviously I'm going to take Duke. I think that, they're going to be very, very good down the stretch against this St. John's team. They've been a second-half team all year, and I think that will bode well against Patino. Also, I want to take into consideration that Caleb Foster might be back for that game, which will also help the Blue Devils. I know Caden Boozer has been playing well, but if Foster can come off the bench for limited minutes, I think he could be a big impact in that game. Moving on to Michigan State, UConn. I'm going to take UConn here. I love the way Izzo coaches and plays, but I think Hurley and the way that that UConn's been playing as of late has been really, really impressive. I thought UCLA was going to be their biggest opponent to the Elite Eight. So I think that they really controlled Donovan Dent. They did a really good job defensively against, what I think is one of the best offensive teams in the tournament in UCLA. So I'm going to take UConn to beat Michigan State just because of the way they've been playing so far this tournament. Iowa-Nebraska. This is a big, big rivalry matchup. I really like how Nebraska played against Vanderbilt, but Iowa just looked way better against Florida than Nebraska has all year in that one game. So I'm going to take Iowa to advance to the Elite Eight. I think the way defensively that they drew up the scheme against Florida was very good, but I also think that Iowa has some of the offensive firepower to get it done against Nebraska. who I think, I don't know, they played well, but I just don't know.
Well, to be fair, both teams were caught up in like close games in the second round.
That's true. So yeah, I am gonna take Iowa to beat Nebraska in the Sweet 16. Moving on, Keaton Wagler, Kingston Fleming. I said Kingston Fleming was gonna go higher than Keaton Wagler, and I think he's gonna go further in the tournament. I'm gonna take Houston to beat Illinois. I just think Houston's better coached by Sampson. Moving on to the West, Arizona, Arkansas. This is a big game. Everyone's rooting for Darius Acuff, and I am too. I'm going Arkansas to the Elite Eight. I'm hopping on the bandwagon. Ryan's been saying it for a while.
It's Arkansas season.
Yeah. Purdue, Texas.
What do they eat down in Arkansas? Because I want to eat. I'm gonna have that for dinner tomorrow. What's their national food?
I don't know.
Producer Sorgi, look up what's Arkansas's national food. Keep going on, Cole.
All right, Texas, Purdue. Now here's the thing. It pains me to see Purdue go this far because I mean, man, they just stink every year in the tournament.
Yeah, I know.
And Texas is on a heater right now. They beat NC State by 2? They beat a good BYU team where DeBonsa put up 35. They beat Gonzaga, and I thought Gonzaga was the best in the West. I thought the Graham Ike was phenomenal, but I'm going to take Texas. And I think that might be crazy, but now granted, oh my gosh.
All right, never mind. We're not the Arkansas national food is possum. State food. State food. It's not national. I'm stupid. Possum.
It's just a dessert. It's not actual possum.
Well, what is there like? What's in it?
Sandy bottom crust, flour, butter.
No, it's not gluten free.
Cream cheese, chocolate custard, and whipped cream.
I thought it was like. I thought they actually like.
No, there's no pasta.
I thought it was like a dish, like an actual like entree. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there probably is one, but that's the most.
All right.
Fried catfish as well.
Yeah, say fried catfish,
Barbecue.
barbecue, chicken. It's just like regular.
Okay.
That's the South, Ryan.
Okay.
I'm saying now.
All right,
Cole, keep going.
So I am going to take Texas in this one. Listen, I really hate to go against Braden Smith, strictly off of how much experience he's had and he's played, and if he goes to the championship, he's going to play in over 150 college basketball games. But I don't know. I just something in my gut says Texas is going to the Elite Eight, and so I am going to take Texas to win that one. However, I hate to go against Braden Smith, strictly off of experience.
Doesn't look bad.
No.
Looks pretty good.
I mean, you're the one eating it. I'm not.
Fair enough.
Michigan, Alabama. Listen, I think Alabama is probably the best scoring team in the entire tournament, but I don't know, man. Michigan's looked so good in these past 2 games. I don't think I can't take Michigan, especially against St. Louis. I thought they were going to get worked by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but nah. I really like Yaxel, and I think that Michigan will take this one. They'll go to the Elite Eight. And then Iowa, Tennessee. Listen, Tennessee really surprised me with how they played against UVA. Listen, I love UVA, but the way that Tennessee pushed the pace against them, I think that was something to take note of. However, I think Iowa State has the best, not only pace of play, but just fast break. Not even points, just like tempo. So I am going to take Iowa State. I think that they are one of the fastest teams in the tournament, and that's my breakdown of the Sweet 16. And yeah, I might as well give the Elite Eight. I got Duke over UConn. I got Houston over Iowa. I got Arkansas over Texas, and then I got Iowa State over Michigan. So my final 4 is Duke, Houston, and then Arkansas and Iowa State.
Oh, he shows up. No, well, hold on. We got into a big debate. Come here. Come on. We got into a big debate last week. You said Alabama's done, and look what happened. Who was right?
They're still
done.
They're still
Who was
done.
right?
They're still
Who was right?
Get your hand on my
Who was right?
They're still
Who
done.
was right?
They still don't.
Me.
I
I was
don't,
right.
I don't care how
Now-
far do you have them going.
Now I think they'll lose against Michigan,
Okay.
but I was right that they would get to where they're at. You were wrong. All
How's
right.
your bracket doing, bro?
It's all right. It's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right. How's your bracket?
It's not bad.
Oh, really? Not bad. Okay. All right. That's good. Do you have who I don't know what I'm saying. I was just so hyped up that I was right. Once again,
Hanson, he said you were running from the smoke.
you were running
Whoa,
from the smoke.
here I am. Here I am.
Yeah, you showed up.
So you're wrong.
You had to be
You're
called
wrong
in.
about that
You had
one.
to be
You're
called
wrong
in.
about that one.
You had to be called in.
Called in.
Yeah, bro.
Called in because
You know we
I'm the
record
best thing that
Wednesdays.
happened to this podcast.
Whoa!
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're right, Jamie.
Okay.
I don't see high point in the tournament.
All right.
Anyway.
Wait,
Whoa.
All right, let's get.
let me make a comment.
What's your comment?
I don't see high point.
Hey, Adoring fans, I'm back.
High point.
I'm just here to say the boys, they made it happen first round, first program win in history for high. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, High Point's winning it all next year, and Rob Wright will be the first overall pick.
Alrighty, so getting into what
Is
I.
Rob right not on BYU?
Yeah, he is. He's from.
No, Rob Wright's on High Point too. Look it up.
Rob Wrights.
Yeah.
What?
5'10",
Oh.
senior point guard.
Okay. Anyway.
All right.
Anyway.
They got the Walmart Rob right.
Oh goodness gracious.
They got the real Rob Wright. I doubt the other one could go point for point when they cut.
I think
Oh,
Duke
alright.
will win over St. John's. I think that I have UConn over Michigan State. Not just because Cole Kuhn is here. I think that Duke will actually win. I have him winning the whole thing. I don't know. I feel like I'll go with just to go opposite of Cole. I'll go with Nebraska, just so we have a little bit of spice on the podcast.
You have Iowa.
Yeah,
I have
he's
Iowa
mine.
over.
I'll take
Or
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
I'm taking Illinois over Houston
Hey,
now.
no
I
one
have them in my
believed when
final
I-
four.
Yeah, Illinois.
It's a home game for Houston. It's in Houston.
I don't care. I'm still taking Illinois. They're the most efficient team in the tournament. I'm going.
Houston can't win big.
Houston better coached,
Houston
better
can't-
guard.
Houston can't win
better
big
guard
games,
play.
bro.
I'm talking about the
Houston
overall
was
team.
in the Final Four last
No,
year.
I'm talking about this year. This year.
Last year they were.
What are
This
you
year.
talking
Last
about?
year.
And
Last year's
then,
different.
I mean, all right, whatever.
and then I'm going with
That
Arkansas.
pissed me off.
I'm going with I'll go with Arkansas over Arizona. I have Arkansas in the Final Four. I'll go Purdue over Texas. Just honestly, half of this is biased because Texas completely screwed my bracket. So I'll go with Purdue, even though they can't perform at this stage. I'm gonna go with Michigan over Alabama, who made it to the Sweet 16, unlike somebody over here said they wouldn't. Yeah. I'll go with Iowa State over Tennessee. Yeah, and that's the Sweet 16. Jamie, any
I will
comments?
say I don't.
Okay.
I think that the Tennessee Iowa State game is going to be closer than a lot of people think.
I do too. Jamie, any comments before we move on?
Yeah. First of all, Illinois over Houston any day of the week.
I agree. I
Any
agree with
day
you.
of the week.
Okay. I hear you, but when I text both of you when Houston wins, I don't want to hear anything.
10:05 after. Oh goodness
Listen.
gracious! What a late game.
Houston.
Yes, it is.
Listen.
When you have to broadcast
Listen.
5 games this week.
It's in Houston. Kingston Fleming's a better guard than Keaton Wagler, and Sampson is a much better coach. So that's why I have them winning.
I agree, but the most efficient team in this tournament has been Illinois.
Have they been there? Have
I'm
they
not
been there
saying
before?
no.
They haven't.
That doesn't matter when it comes to March Madness. You know.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Duke.
Look at Kentucky over here.
Kentucky got second rounded
Look
this
at
year and
look-
first rounded last year.
We
Yeah,
just
but
talked about it. Look at Purdue. They're there every year, but then they lose.
That is true. But Houston was in the championship last year.
I'm not saying that they aren't. I'm saying that this year, right here, right now, Illinois
Okay.
is
Different
the.
team.
All right. You will be hearing from me.
All right, we will.
You will be hearing from me when they are in the Final Four losing to Duke.
Okay.
Okay. Go
All
ahead.
right, let's. All right. Jamie, thank you for your time, but it's time for Ryan's rants.
Is it?
Um,
You're
yes,
excused.
hot
think-
take, jeez.
The winner of the Illinois-Houston game goes to the Final Four.
Winner of the Illinois
Wow.
Houston game. Well,
Oh, really?
yeah, I agree. That's not really.
That is not a hot take. That is
Yeah,
a
that's the point. Because they're going to the championship.
that is a
They're gonna
seeming.
beat Duke. That's the whole thing.
So, okay, so you had okay.
Wait, so you went from Final Four? You went from them beating Iowa to them beating Duke.
They're going to be both of them. They're
Okay.
gonna be the hottest team that
That now that's a hot take.
Oh my God.
How about Siena?
How about Siena? They lost.
You guys are lucky. I'm just saying.
Okay. God forbid they trail.
Wizards are overrated too.
Okay. I'm just gonna pretend like you didn't say that. Okay. I mean, Caden had literally 19 and 5 in the first round. All right. Anyways,
I will say I'm not a fan of Keenan. I mean, he had like a million shots. But okay, we'll get into that later. We have to get into Ryan's rants.
okay.
All right, here we go. Give me the first topic.
Now Crosby wants to stay in Vegas.
So after a debacle with the Baltimore Ravens, now all of a sudden Max Crosby wants to stay in Vegas. Why? Probably because they actually spent the money and they're trying to, actually become a contender now. But you just, created this whole problem with the NFL and the NFLPA and all this stuff about, trying to get traded, and now you don't want to be traded. Now the Raiders are in a salary cap problem. I mean, Max Crosby is causing more problems than I don't even know. I mean, he's just causing problems out here. It's not going well. I don't even know what the Raiders' cap situation looks like now. That's got to be an absolute unmitigated disaster. I mean, that's just terrible.
65-game rule is crazy.
We just talked about it. Wembanyama should be the MVP, but because, his foot was hurting or something like that, he's not allowed to play. I mean, injuries are part of the game. You look at the way the game is played nowadays, injuries are part of it. I understand load management is a thing, but I feel like that the rule needs to be modified in some way, shape, or form. You can tell when guys are load managed and when guys are actually injured. There's a difference here. And, I mean, we've seen that in past MVP races before. It doesn't make absolutely any sense.
Why does that matter if Jaylen Brown's the MVP regardless?
Oh my god.
I did.
You know what? Yeah,
this
we're
is
done.
My
We're
segment.
done.
This is my segment.
No. I had to come in when I hear something horrendous. And you just said something horrendous.
Are you
Jaylen
absolutely
Brown is the
out
MVP.
of, you know what?
Jaylen
you know
Brown
what?
is the MVP.
Is it because he's better than Tatum, and I've been telling you that for the past couple of years?
This year, because he's coming off an Achilles injury.
Any other year where
Jaylen
James
Brown
and
is
Tatum,
the MVP.
that
Jaylen
is
Brown
just
is
so
the most
untrue.
valuable player in the league
That
right
is
now.
just so untrue.
In the league right now.
More than Wemby and Shea
Yes,
Gilgeous-Alexander.
more than Wemby
That
and
is
Shea.
absolutely ridiculous.
Shea is not nearly as valuable as Jaylen Brown
Are
right
you
now.
absolutely
Same
out of
thing
your
with
mind?
Wemby. Same thing with Wemby.
How?
Jaylen Brown.
Wemby is the defensive player of the year and the MVP.
Wemby could not
That is
carry
the
that
crazy-
Boston Celtics team
What?
to
What?
where they
Oh
are right
my
now.
God.
You just don't
Oh
understand.
my God.
You don't understand.
That is the craziest
You don't
thing
understand.
I've ever heard in my 17 years of
Craziest
life.
thing? That's not even crazy.
In 17
it's true.
years.
I don't know why you're debating
It-
why the 65-game rule should be a thing.
Ever
it shouldn't.
since I came
but
out of the womb,
but
I've never
regardless,
heard
Jaylen Brown is
anything
the
more
MVP.
crazy than that.
Regardless, Jaylen Brown is the MVP,
That
and
is
I don't
not
think you
the
can
case.
accept that.
Wemby gets
You
it
can't
done
accept
on
it.
both sides
You
of the
can't
ball.
handle the truth.
Oh, I can't handle the truth. I don't know what you're talking about. This is the craziest thing. Oh my God! Who set you up to this? Who paid him?
Sent me, Justice sent me, because you are obviously speaking nonsense right now.
This is the most. I need to recover. I need some time. I need to see A-Rod, and he needs to find a way to get
Listen,
me
you
back
look-
into my mental space.
Okay. You want to do the final topic, or are we ending it on that?
We're ending it on that. That was crazy. I mean, I couldn't believe it. That was the worst take. God. Oh.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next edition. Hopefully, we'll be back next Wednesday, same time. But yeah.